Welcome to another episode of United for a Healthy Stoughton. Today we're going to be talking about the Community Playground Renovation Project, and I have with me Tim Davis, who is our Recreation Director for the Parks and Recreation Department here in Stoughton. So thanks for joining us today.
Having me.
Awesome. So we have an exciting new playground proposal on the works for town meeting this year.
We do.
And so let's talk a little bit about this project, and I know it's been going on for a little while, so tell us a little bit about the history of this project.
Sure. So yeah, Article 43 this year in town meeting will be a CPC funded project to renovate and replace the existing playground, which is located behind the Wilkins School on the Town Recreation Complex.
Okay.
So we'll be going for, again, CPC funds to replace that. This has been a project that has been in our minds for probably 5 or 6 years now. I was working on it when I was an assistant director with John Dennison, and then when he retired, it was around the time frame where it was like, okay, let's get going. So right now we're in year 2.
Yep.
This is a 2-year project, so we're looking for year 2, funding for year 2. We're currently in year 1 of the project. So last town meeting we were awarded funds to contract a landscape architect and design team to do the studies, to hold the community meetings, to really study the site, see what the issues are, see what we could come up with to mediate the issues. We're in the middle of that. We've gone through where we sit now today. We've gone through all the meetings we needed to get approval. So we've received approval from CPC, from the Community Preservation Committee, through CPA Funds. We've received approval from the Board of Selectmen. We've received approval from the Finance Committee as well, which just happened last week. So we got the approvals we needed, and again, our next step is just town meeting. So, but we have a contractor on board with us, and we're super excited to get the project underway, which you'll see, I guess, over the next couple minutes, next half hour. We'll dive deeper into kind of the issues we have there, what it looks like, what we're proposing, everything like that. But you know, for me, on a personal note, this is just very fun. It's a very exciting project to do, and we just know that the benefit for the community of that area of town and all of Stoughton in general is just going to be massive.
Awesome. So before we jump into like really thinking about why this particular playground, for folks at home who don't know what CPA means and what CPA funding is, can you do a quick?
Yeah. So CPA funds. So Community Preservation Act was an act that was voted in. I don't know the exact year it was voted in here in Stoughton, but CPA funding is tax generated. So there's 2 layers of it that I think are important. One is the money is already built into the taxpayer's bill. It's a very small percentage, I believe 1 to 2% of your taxes go into this fund that is held by the town. And CPA funds can have very, very hard restrictions on what you can use it for. And those restrictions are recreation and open space, which we utilize in our department for obvious reasons. Affordable housing, which anybody in town can utilize and put in proposals for, as well as land conservation.
Okay.
So those are the main areas of that the funds can go through. That's supervised by a committee that is appointed in this town, but it has a very large oversight from the Department of Revenue. So again, what we use the funds for are very, very strict. CPA funds are available to anybody in town, not just town employees, not just individuals who have some association with the town on a professional basis. You could be an individual just sitting in your living room and you have a great idea for building a skate park, or you have a great idea that there's a piece of land that you catch wind that it may be developed, and you're interested in preserving it. So it doesn't have to be a town employee using the funds all the time. It's something that I always like to tell anybody is you have an idea, you fill out an application, you go to CPC, and you propose it, and they could accept it. And next thing you know, you got a new facility. So that's one piece of it, kind of what it is. But the other piece of it too, which I think is important, is so this playground project is very expensive. I'll be the first one to admit that, and we'll probably jump into that a little later about that. So we're looking in total over 2 years, we're probably going to get to about $750,000 to $800,000. But what's important to know is CPA funds, when approved, does not go against the tax base of that year. CPA funds, as I mentioned before, is already paid out of your taxes, and there's a pot of money, for lack of better words, that's sitting within the town that can be used from. So this is money that's already in hand from the town. It's just, this is an opportunity for us to tap into it and use it to better, again, the recreation and open space aspect of the town.
Great. I think that's important, because sometimes people think about when they hear the cost and then they're concerned about taxes and where is this money coming from. This is money that really has a very specific purpose, sort of a narrow focus in town, and can only be allocated for certain kinds of projects. So I think that's important.
And there's one other one, it just popped in my head, I apologize. Historical preservation is another piece of it. So if you go around town, you may see some historical signs around town in front of our oldest buildings. That was CPA funds. The renovations and the restorations to Town Hall, that was CPA funds because of the historical meanings of it. So that was just one other piece.
Right, and they often fund multiple projects.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Excellent.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about why this particular playground, the playground that's out behind the Wilkins School, and what are some of the issues there? I know we have some video footage as we're talking.
I think there's some video, and I'll easily talk through it. So there's a couple, there's three main points that I always look at this for. One, as we can see right here, is the equipment. In its infancy, this equipment was excellent. It was brand new. It was beautiful, but it's running its age. It's getting to the point of disrepair that we're seeing, to the point where our inspectors are saying it may fail soon. Some of the equipment like this is very old. I mean, it's old monkey bars, old gymnastics equipment, climbing domes. That's a old zip line that we actually had to take apart because too many kids were getting hurt. An old embankment slide that has seen its days. So just the equipment alone is really nearing the end of its life per se. Another piece of it is there's a drainage issue at that site. There's severe puddling, as you can see here, just from the entrance. This is the entryway when you walk in. But then again, and this is a great shot here, this is just in the middle of the playground. Now, this video was taken this morning. It's April 8th, 2019. And this was a storm that was maybe 6 to 7 hours, just you can kind of see in the puddles, just your typical rainstorm.
Not a particularly heavy storm.
Exactly, not a 100-year storm, not a storm that was going on for days at a time. And truthfully, we had the last 2 days were 70 degrees and dry. So we have a severe puddling issue that when this water hits, you'll see in a little bit, we got about 3 inches of water there. It's just standing water, and it has nowhere to go because of issues within the soil. It is our understanding that year after year we replace the playground fiber and the mulch, and we're talking 10, 15 years of just decomposing mulch just sitting on top of each other, and it's hit a point where it's just clogging something up, is the easiest way of explaining it. So this is me walking on it, so you can actually see kind of
like a sponge.
Exactly, kind of the water underneath it. And this renders the playground unusable. So we have a full school there that admittedly benefits the most from the town playground. And this is you walking through this morning. And we have kids who can't enjoy their recess, who can't get the physical activity that they need to get the energy out throughout the day.
So if the rain stops today at recess time, they're not playing on this playground.
They're not, and they're restricted to blacktop. And kids will be kids, and they'll find something to do. But there gets a point. This past November of 2018, we had maybe a handful of days where the kids could actually use the playground.
Oh wow!
And it just it's not what you want. It's not what you want for the kids to really get the exercise they need so they can stay in shape instead of just sitting inside during a rain day. And that was this morning. So we're looking at about 3 inches straight. But you can just see the water is just sitting there. So,
right.
So it's the equipment again. Is just it's outdated again. That equipment, and I would feel terrible not mentioning it, was installed and donated by the hard work of the PTO at the time when that playground was being built. So again, that's the embankment slide. I think we can run. I think there's a bunch of these we can just run through. So that was the embankment slide again in its heyday. It was great. While that structure is legal when it comes to inspections, it's not the safest, and it's run down, it's fading, its joists and its stability is in question. The dome behind it and the monkey bars, monkey bars are only suited for they're rated for kids second grade and up, and we have kindergartners and pre-K at this school.
Yep. So half the school population, in theory, really shouldn't be using this piece of equipment.
Exactly, because the upper body strength isn't developed in them. So
Yep.
it's wearing down. As you can see, the coatings and the coverings of all the equipment is wearing off. It's chipping.
Yep.
There's bolts and screws that come bare that we need to go out constantly and fix. There's lips, and it's a sight for sore eyes when you get up to it.
Yep.
But my concern as a rec director and also a certified playground inspector is it's just not safe.
Right.
We're putting hundreds of kids out there during the summer, a day from the school, just the school alone.
Yep.
On a facility that really isn't what we really want for the kids of our town.
Yep. So let's talk about whose facility it really is. So we talked about school and recess time, but truthfully, this is actually a community playground.
True. Yeah. So this playground is actually a town playground. Yep. A reason why the rec department is in charge of it is because it's a town playground. The Wilkins School is just super lucky because they're adjacent to it. They're in the vicinity of it, and they get to utilize it every day. However, when school time is out, it borders the town recreation complex. So we have, I think last year we permitted almost 3,000 hours out to the public, and that's Stoyak, that's private groups, that's birthday party rentals, that's adult leagues and kids leagues. So we got softball out there, we got soccer, we got field hockey, we got special events.
And that doesn't include anybody who just on Saturday says, hey, it's a beautiful day, let's go to the playground.
That's the other piece of it. We have thousands of hours permitted out to the public that we know about. We have every single school day that we know about, but we got the weekends, we got the after hours, we got a family at home saying it's beautiful out, let's just go out there. So if I had to make a guess, this is the playground that gets the most use, or should get the most use out of any playground in town. However, we know from talking to the public and just from what you probably just saw on that video that's not the case. People don't go to this playground because it's run down, because it's old, because it's dangerous, and because there's other playgrounds in town that really are better in comparison. So just like that water, if a storm like that hits, which you just saw happen today, that will be there for a couple days. And it's not what the kids deserve. It's not what the community deserves. And we want to go in, we want to fix it, we want to make this a destination playground for our town.
So, and this is sort of a central part of the community in terms of sort of the community surrounding this playground. And we talked a little bit about who might utilize it. So there are a lot of groups that come in and that are using the complex anyway, that might be there with their families. And I can imagine, if you have an older kid who's playing in one of those leagues, the younger kids might be using the playground, but also people who live in walking proximity to that playground as well.
Yeah, and you'll see when we get to the proposals in the proposed renovation in a few minutes, part of it is creating sight lines so that kids on that playground can watch their brothers and sisters play, and parents can watch the kids. But another piece of it too is the Wilkins School and the demographic around the Wilkins community is our most in-need population of our town. It's a Title I school, which means I believe about 70% of the Wilkins School is free or reduced lunch. So we're talking about a facility that, yes, it's going to benefit the town, but it's going to benefit our most in-need population. It'll provide a recreation facility for the community that needs free, accessible, safe recreation, more than, in my opinion, more than any other area in town. So that, and that was actually the third point of my whole idea of this renovation and why we're doing it is, yes, the equipment's old, yes, there's a drainage issue, but our community needs it. That area of town needs it more than anybody. And, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we do it? Why not?
It's so important, for kids in that neighborhood to be able to look at, their school, their community playground and say, this is not sort of less than playgrounds in other parts of the community. We deserve this. It's an equity issue.
Exactly. And with this renovation too, it's a connectivity of all the town facilities. This side, the Wilkins community side, and this side of town will have this beautiful playground. We go to the center of town. We have Halloran Park and that recently renovated playground, which gets so much foot traffic. And then West Stoughton has the Bradley Lessa Memorial Playground, and just a beautiful playground right there. So this also offers kind of a connectivity that just about every area of town will have an accessible, amazing, safe playground for
which
for
is
kids
really
and
great.
family.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about the playground developer.
Yes.
Right, because so this is an agency the town has worked with in the past.
Correct. Yeah. So Rebecca Bashan and RBLA Design was the winning bid in this project. They had everything we were looking for when it came to bids. They had the project. They understood Stoughton. They had a really clear understanding of what we wanted, but also a really clear understanding of what the town wanted. And a reason for that is because Rebecca was responsible for the Halloran Park renovation. Just by chance, you know, we saw her name pop up when we got all the bids in, and we were very excited that she was interested. She's very interested in coming back to the town because she's told me on many occasions she had such a positive experience with Stoughton. So it was great. So, you know, to have her knowledge of our town, to have her knowledge of working with CPC, because the Halloran Park was a CPA project as well, and just knowing her work and her work ethic and her want to kind of go above and beyond of what's laid out in the wording of a bid and what's acceptable. It's just great, and she's been great. So we have Rebecca, and then PVI Site Design, Tim Power from PVI is the drainage expert on site, and he's been amazing. The plans that he came up with to mediate the ponding concern and the excessive water on the playground were just spot on.
Awesome.
And it's just going to be great. It's been great working with them. And
so let's take a look at some of those renderings, because this is like the most exciting part, right? So let's see what this proposal might really look like. So I know we have some images here.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch, and we'll walk through them. So that's the main thing right there. So just a couple, I think there's a bunch, so we'll go through them, but I'll start with this one.
Give us the tour.
So this will be the main structure of the playground. As you can see, it's kind of a tree, and besides the fact it's really cool, there's a reason why we decided on this one, and that's because of the shade element of it.
Right.
If you're familiar with the complex and you're familiar with that playground, there's only trees on the outlying, boundaries of our complex. So that tree, actually above it, as you can see, is a boat sail cloth material. And that will really give the shade that is needed to a big portion of that playground.
Awesome.
So that was a big thing. But that tree, it's got climbers, kind of like if you go to a gym and there's a rock wall, it's got those climbers. It's got ropes off of it going to each one of the structures. And as I'm going through this, it's important to note that we did multiple community meetings with the Wilkins community, just not so much the school, but the surrounding community. And every single one of these elements was based off of the feedback that we got. And the kids loved climbing. So this is kind of a widespread, kind of you panned out a little bit. And this is actually interesting. So this is one side. So if you're standing behind the school, we're looking at the left side of the playground. And what we did was that the left side is reserved for our younger kids. Part of the feedback we got was that the teachers really wanted some separation for recess time between having an area for younger kids and having an area for the older, more capable age groups. So this left side is really for the kindergarten, pre-K, first, second grade. So we have low elements, we have musical elements, we have low climbing elements, which are the play cubes. We actually switched out some of this, but you'll see, you can kind of see behind those monkey bars. We just made this decision, so it's not on the rendering. I apologize, but there'll be a lower Challenger. It's called a Challenger, similar to what's at Halloran Park, kind of a lower scale when it comes to height, playground equipment, with its own slides and transfer stations and everything, more rated to a younger audience. So that's the one slide. In the middle, it's right to the right of the tree, you'll see we put in a big embankment slide. It's really unique, as you can just tell, because the only way to get to the top of it is climbing through those cubes. So it's a different take on a traditional ladder and slide element, and so that's going to be really cool. I think that's going to be one of the big features as well. So again, that's that other side. Should we go to the next one? Yep. So that's in front. Yep. So we're in front now. So we're getting more towards the right side. So you see the tree and you see more of another Challenger transfer station on the right side, something a little taller. The fun thing about it, just as a little Easter egg of this project that I had to put in, is that bridge that you see kind of bridging the gap from one side to the other. It's kind of the brown picket. That's the exact bridge that we have at Halloran Park.
Oh, neat.
So it's just a little something that I wanted to put in, just to kind of, it's a staple. I kind of want to make something known that it's a recreation playground. I just thought it was a cool way of showing just the the elements that
The
we
relationship
do
between those
across town, the
playgrounds, yeah.
connectivity across town.
Cool.
As we get further, we are going to be able to put swings in. This
Great.
is something we worked really hard at getting. On the surface, when everybody sees swings, they're like, yeah, why can't we put them? You just put them in. But swings require a significant amount of clearance zones in front and back, above it, off to the sides of where the supports are. But we're happy to say that we're going to get 3 bays of swings in.
Oh, great.
So you'll have 5 regular swings, and we'll have 1 handicap swing, so that's great. To the right of it is going to be a Tannenbaum, which is more aptly known as the Christmas tree.
Right.
That we have.
Which we also have over at Halloran.
Yep, we have over at Halloran, so that's an updated one, a little bigger. That's something that the kids really wanted. And kind of to the left of it, you see there's a smaller spinner on the ground.
Yep.
I apologize, it's kind of hard to see. But that's a take on the old school spinners that, you sit on it and a kid whips you around.
Yep.
But that one's actually unique, and we'll kind of get into it. But every single piece of equipment here is accessible, is rated handicap accessible. The transfer stations that we have, which are the steps going up on the playground equipment, are all accessible. They're at the heights needed so that if a child in a wheelchair goes up to it, there's proper stability with railings, but also height that he can get himself off the chair. Him or her can get themselves off the chair and work their way up. Same with the cubes. It may not look like it, but the spacing and the depth and the pitch of the cubes are made so that can happen. Wow. But that spinner, so that's a little better picture. That spinner to the right. So that's a traditional spinner. Kids can sit on it. Other kids can kind of whip them around 360. Yep. But what you can't see in this picture is that the middle of it is actually an open cylinder. So a kid can actually just sit in the middle of it.
Oh, neat.
But also on 2 of the sides of it, instead of it being just a flat surface, there's actually seats with seat belts.
Oh, wow.
So if there's a child who requires assistance in a wheelchair or something like that and they want to partake, they can simply be transferred over to it and sit in the seat and be buckled in and then play with all the other kids.
That's
so I'm really excited about that
Yeah.
element. That's really new. And this is just a bird's eye view of it. You kind of get the full effect, and that actually has the updated equipment on it, so I'm glad we have this picture. So you can see, again, closest to the screen to the right is going to be the younger group, so you have those play cubes, you have the music elements, which are actually going to be donated from the PTO, so we're super thankful for that. They did some fundraising, or able to give us some funds for that, so it's excellent.
Yep.
We have a little thing in the back called the Cozy Cocoon. It's a little seat for 1 or 2 kids. It spins, but it's just a little seating. So then we got 2 slides and kind of a lower grade Challenger climbing aspect. So we got its own accessible platforms going up, 2 slides, a bridge. You have the main tree, which obviously is a little more difficult, but even that, the rating of the ropes and the thickness of the ropes, and there's some ropes that are more straps that are flat, those are all rated for kids with disabilities, so that kids can shimmy their way across to climb on the tree. So it's great. And then that's the back view of it that you'll see. And then just the far end, you see we got the big embankment slide, we got the spinners, we got the 2 spinners, we got the 3 bays of swings, excuse me. So, but the biggest piece of this entire project is the surface.
Yep.
We are getting completely away from the playground fiber and the playground mulch, and we're laying in a poured-in-place surface. That's a great picture right there of it. And what this is, if you're familiar with Halloran Park and the cap renovation, this is the surfacing that's there. It's a rubberized surface. It's bouncy when you walk on it. It's a little squishy. But it is a porous surface.
So it drains well.
Like none other. We're looking at a couple inches of rubber is what the public sees. But underneath that are feet and feet of gravel, small gravel, big gravel. We're not throwing dirt and kind of basic things underneath.
So all that water has somewhere to go.
This water will have somewhere to go, but also on the edges will be drains, will be French drains, will be brand new drain, like pretty much a state-of-the-art drainage system will be underneath this playground to ensure that this ponding doesn't happen. Because if we get water that ponds and it freezes in the winter, it's just going to be a disaster. So this water will drain through like never before, and will actually everything will be pushed to the outside. So we do have woods that border our complex. It will be pushed towards the woods with piping. We're actually going to be putting a rain garden in. Great. That will kind of mirror what's at the Gibbons right now, if anybody's interested in kind of seeing what it looks like, just as another element of drainage to help even more, and it'll look nice at the same time. So there'll be no water that's standing. We could have a storm like this right now, and an hour later after it ends and it's cloudy out, that playground will be ready to go.
Yep.
Within minutes, that playground will be
Awesome.
ready to go. So we're just really excited. It's just it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it does look beautiful.
You know, it looks
Yep.
absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
And it's like I said, you know, why not? It's
Yep.
time.
Yep.
You know, that playground needs it, that community needs it, and the town needs it
Yep.
as a whole.
Yep.
So and I'm just in a great position to be able to help
Yeah.
kind of guide that path. So we're
Yep.
super excited.
So this
Everyone's
is really
excited.
great. So I know that one of the concerns always with these kinds of projects are cost, and so you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and there's not much to get into. I mean, again, like I said, it's crazy expensive.
Yep. Yep.
But playgrounds are crazy expensive
Right.
if we want to do them right. You know, if we want to just throw dirt down and mulch and
Right.
not deal with, you know, what the issue is, then we could do it with half the price. But, you know, the other aspect of it, one is the footprint, just for comparison's sake, the footprint of this playground is twice the size of Halloran.
Oh, wow.
So we're looking at a large playground, a very, very large playground. We won't be going beyond the footprint of what's already there.
Yep.
So literally what is there with that mulch and that equipment is just a very big space. The equipment itself is a small fraction of the cost. The biggest driver of the cost is really is the actual construction. It's the labor.
Yep.
The economy is great right now, and people are very busy, and the prices have gone up for labor. And so mix that in again with the sheer cost of the playground equipment is
Yep.
expensive.
It
We're
is.
talking a couple
Yeah.
hundred
Yep.
thousand
Yep.
just for what you saw.
Yep.
That compacted together is just what's driving the cost. But you know, if we want quality, we got to
Yep.
spend it on quality, and this is pretty much guaranteed to last another 15 to 20 years.
Yep.
So you know, put it in on the front end, and,
Yep.
and we'll benefit from
Right.
it.
Well,
it's
and I
worth
think
it.
that the Halloran project is a great example of, you know, the community investing this sort of type of dollars, and you know, the amount of folks that are using that playground, and
Yeah.
just the, you know, what
the
everybody's
return
saying
on
about it.
investment-
Yeah, it's
the
been
return on
amazing.
investment is
Yeah.
there.
Yep. So I know we're like running into our final seconds here, so I'll just ask you if you have any final things you really want to say about this project.
No, just, you know, we appreciate your support of
Yep.
anybody who is a voting member, anybody who wants to get the word out about this project. This is a project, again, that doesn't benefit me personally, doesn't
Right.
benefit my department. This is a project that we're doing for our town, for our community. And any support, any word on the street, any you know, little bugs you can plant in people's ears, we appreciate it.
Awesome.
That would be
And
it.
if folks have questions, they can reach you at the Recreation Department.
Rec Department,
Email,
yep.
phone.
Absolutely.
Oh, here's the contact
Everything
stuff.
is right there. This will be put on. We're going to put our plans up soon, so everyone can view it. But everything you need is right there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
And I hope people learned a little bit more about the
too.
project. And good luck.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. Thanks.
Cool.
All right.